Starting a business is easy. Starting a YouTube channel is very exciting. Coming up with that $1 million idea in the shower feels amazing. Finishing is where 99% of people disappear. We have all been there. You get that initial hit of dopamine, you buy the domain name, you design the logo, you tell your friends you're going to change your life. But 3 weeks later, the excitement just fades. The work gets boring and the life-changing idea ends up in the graveyard of unfinished projects on your hard drive. The problem isn't that you lack discipline. It's definitely not that you lack ideas. The problem is you are relying on motivation to do a job that requires a system. I built and sold my marketing agency before I turned 25. And now I'm building my next business from out here in Southeast Asia. And I didn't do it because I'm smarter or work harder than you. I did it because I stopped treating finishing as a personality trait and started treating it as a mechanical process. Therefore, today I'm going to show you the exact 5-step protocol I use to bridge the gap between dreaming and doing. This is how you finish everything you start. Welcome back, I'm Tom, and today we are going to uninstall the hustle harder mentality and replace it with a system that actually works. Because the truth is, I didn't sell my agency because I had better ideas than you. I simply sold it because I learned how to close the loop over ideas. Most people think that gap between them and their dream life is a lack of talent. It's absolutely not. It's a lack of clarity. And so let's fix that right now with the first step. The first reason why you never finish is that your goal is actually just a dream. A dream is fuzzy, it lives in your head, it feels good to think about, but impossible to act on. A goal is physical, it lives on paper, in your journal, on your MacBook. So the first step is reverse engineering. You need to take that massive, scary objective and break it until it stops looking like a mountain and starts to look like a staircase. When I started my agency, I didn't wake up and say, I need to build a 6-figure business. That's paralyzing. Instead, I worked backward. To get 6 figures, I need 10 clients. To get 10 clients, I will need 50 sales calls. To get 50 sales calls, I need to send 500 emails. And suddenly, my goal wasn't to build an empire. My goal was just write one email template. You have to get an idea out of your brain and onto paper. It is not written down, it isn't real. It's just a dopamine hit you are using to make yourself feel productive. And now you have a clear plan. This is where the most productivity gurus tell you to just get to work. This is actually the most dangerous moment, because staring at a list of 500 steps often triggers a biological response that makes you quit before you even start. Therefore, to avoid analysis paralysis, you need to apply a specific rule to the very first item on your list. So, you have your plan, you know exactly what you need to do to build your business or do whatever you want. For example, start your channel, but you are still scrolling on your phone instead of doing it. The big question is why? It's not because you are lazy, it's because the step you wrote down is too big. If your to-do list says write a video script, your brain sees a mountain. It sees effort, pain, and potential failure. So it just triggers a resistance response. This is called execution dysfunction. We treat productivity like a maximizing problem. How much can I do? When we should treat it like a physics problem. The hardest part of any task is never the work itself, it is the first 60 seconds. In physics, this is called static friction. It takes 10 times more energy to push a stationary car than it does to keep a moving car rolling. Your brain works the exact same way. The energy required to start writing email is high. The energy required to finish, it is low. Therefore, your only job as an entrepreneur isn't to finish the project. Your only job is to overcome the initial spike of static friction. And once you are moving, physics will take over. So, how do we hack this physics rule? We use the too small to fail protocol. We take that first scary step on your list and we slice it in half. Then we slice it in half again. And we keep slicing until the task is so stupidly easy that your brain feels ridiculous saying no to it. Let's look at my agency days. If my goal was to get 3 new clients, that's terrifying. I will procrastinate on that for weeks. So I shrink it. Send 50 cold emails. Still too hard. Still too much friction. I shrink it again, open Gmail and write one draft. Better. But I can still make excuses. So I go to the very atomic level. Open my fucking laptop. That's it. This is the only goal. I'm not allowed to worry about the client, the money, or the emails. I just have to open the lid of my MacBook. If you can get yourself to do the work, you are making the entry point too high. And here is my rule. The first step of any project must take less than 2 minutes to complete. If you want to run a marathon, your goal isn't to run 5 miles. Your goal is to just put on your running shoes. If you want to write a book, your goal won't be write a chapter. Your goal is just simply write the first sentence. You have to lower the bar so much that success becomes inevitable. You are tricking your brain into starting because once you open that laptop or put on those shoes, you might as well do the work. And now this gets you started. This overcomes the initial friction. But here is the trap. Even if you start, the work eventually gets hard. The novelty wears off, the shiny object syndrome kicks in, and you want to quit halfway through. And motivation gets you started, but it never keeps you going. Therefore, to actually finish what you start, you need to stop treating your work like a job and start treating it like a game. And to do that, we need to hack your dopamine system. Okay, you've broken the goal down, you've lowered the friction so much, it's impossible to fail starting. But here is the brutal truth. Boredom kills more businesses than failure will ever will. We are hardwired to seek novelty. When you start a new project, your brain releases dopamine. It feels new, it feels exciting. But by week 3, the novelty is gone. The work is just work. The dopamine faucet turns off. And this is exactly when you quit, chase the next shiny object. And the solution is to engineer your own addiction. To finish big projects, you have to hack your own biology. You need to stop waiting for motivation and start manufacturing dopamine. This is called gamification. Video games are addictive for a reason. They don't just give you a quest complete screen at the end of the game. They give you points for every monster you kill, every coin you collect, every mile you walk, for example. They give you constant, tiny feedback loops that say, good job, keep going. This is the most powerful productivity tool I own. 2 jars and 100 paper clips. Every time I make a sales call, cling. Every time I write a paragraph, ching. Every time I do a rap, ching. It sounds stupid, right? But this is the visual proof of your effort. In a video game, you see an XP bar, an experience bar fill up. In real life, your work is invisible. You send an email and nothing happens. You go to the gym and you look the same in the mirror, right? You need to make the invisible visible. Moving these clips creates a physical feedback loop. It releases the tiny hit of dopamine that tricks your brain into wanting to do the next rep. The progress bar protocol. You don't need paper clips, but you need a scoreboard. When I was scaling my agency, I didn't just have a to-do list. I had a done list. I tracked every single outreach message. I tracked every no I got. I even gamified rejection. My goal wasn't to get a client. My goal was to get 50 rejections as fast as possible. And suddenly the rejection didn't hurt. It was just points on the scoreboard. It was progress. And gamifying the process keeps you moving when the work gets boring. It hacks your internal reward system. But there is one force that's stronger than your internal desire to win, and that is your external fear of looking like a failure. If you really want to ensure you never quit, you need to stop playing single player mode and invite someone else into your game. This is called the accountability loop. So, you've tricked your brain with easy starts, you gamified the boring middle, and however, even the best games get old. And on the days when your willpower battery is at 0%, no amount of paper clips or checklists will make you do the work. You need social cost. Human beings are social animals. We don't fear not finishing a project. We fear looking like a flake to the tribe. And we fear embarrassment. When I was building my agency, I didn't just quietly work in the shadows. I told everyone around me, I am launching this offer on Friday. And once I said it that publicly, I didn't have a choice. I had to finish. If I didn't, I wasn't just lazy, I was a liar. And this is called the commitment device. You are locking yourself into a future action. You are burning the boats, so there is no retreat. If you really can't get yourself to finish a project, try this. It's nuclear, but it will work every single time. Give 500 euros or dollars to one of your friends and ask him or her to transfer this money to a political party or an organization you absolutely hate. And tell them, if I don't show you the finished project by Sunday at 5 p.m., make the transfer. And suddenly, the pain of procrastination becomes real. Most people only finish things when the pain of not doing it is greater than the pain of doing it. This hack flips the equation instantly. And now you have a system. You have reduced friction, engineered dopamine, and created social stakes. And yet, there is still one silent killer left. The one that whispers it's not good enough yet. The one that makes you tweak the font size for 3 hours instead of hitting publish. To finally ship your work, we have to dismantle the biggest lie your brain tells you about quality, the perfectionism paradox. We have covered the tactics, the systems, the games, and yet many of you will still stare at the finished project and refuse to hit publish. You will tweak the logo, you will rewrite the headline, you will color grade the footage one more time. You tell yourself, I'm a perfectionist. I call it fear dressed up in a tuxedo. Perfectionism is not about quality. It never was. It's simply a defense mechanism. It's the belief that if you make it perfect, you can avoid judgment. It's flawless. No one can criticize you. And here comes the 70% rule. In the real world, perfect does not exist. The market does not reward the person with the perfect plan who never launches. They will reward the person who ships the good enough version today. And I live by the 70% rule. If the project is 70% as good as I imagined it in my head, it's done. If the video is 70% of the quality I wanted, it's uploaded. Why? Because the remaining 30% takes months of effort, and usually the audience doesn't even notice the difference. The only person who notices is your ego. There is a famous parable about a pottery class. Half the class was graded on the quality of single pot. They spent weeks refining one piece of clay. The other half was graded on quantity, 50 pounds of pots. They just churned them out. At the end, the highest quality pots didn't come from the quality group, they came from the quantity group. And why? Because while the perfectionists were theorizing about the perfect pot, the perfect shape, the other group was busy making mistakes, learning, and iterating. You cannot think your way to better work. You can only work your way to better work. And to finish what you start, you must accept that your first version will suck. It will be jack shit. And this is okay, fine. In fact, it is required. So stop trying to be the architect who designs the perfect building before laying a brick. Start being the builder who lays one ugly brick after another until a house appears. And the goal isn't a masterpiece, the goal is just simply the movement. So, you have the protocol, you know how to reverse engineer the goal, you know how to lower the difficulty setting, and you know how to gamify the boring middle. And you know that the 70% done is better than 100% perfect. The only variable left is you. Information means nothing without execution. The world is filled with brilliant people who have half-finished dreams, half-coded apps, and half-started businesses. Please don't be one of them. If you want to learn more on how to make an income from your ideas and a life that actually filled with fun, hit that subscribe button on my channel. And listen, if you are stuck on a specific idea or you have more, or just want to jam on what you are building, send me a DM on Instagram and I'm more than happy to answer your questions. I'm not some guru in an ivory tower, and I'm in the trenches, like really building just like you are. I like to hear what you are working on now. No sales, no offer, just want to give back some love. Now go and finish something today. I will see you in the next one.